All right. We are back. It is your man in the shadows. Let me see if I can get rid of some of this film noir effect. That'll happen naturally. It's kind of cool, though, in some ways. I kind of like it. Anyway, great rising. Great rising to everyone today. Maybe I should channel. Maybe I should channel today's show. Great rising to everyone today. All of you ancients who are here amongst us, who have been here forever, who know your eternal self. It is yet another day in the long now. How's that? I think I could do it. I think I could pull it off. Maybe that should be my next career move, is channeling. I need a name. What should I go by? Hello, Desley. Nice to see you. What should I go by? Something kind of cool. Let me see what you guys suggest in chat. Morning, Amy Gill. Sabian Civil, 18 Virgo, the Ouija board. There it is. Channeling, bringing it in. What's up, Bo? Devin Dewar. Double B, what's going on, Devin? How are you? Devin coming back from her Jersey Shore adventure. Punching her Jersey Shore card. Debisu's here. Delete it. Time's up for you. Goodbye. All right. See ya. That was fast. 8:07. There's our singing man, Bo. What about singing channels? Nicholas Grimm is here. What's up, Nicholas? Singing channels. I think there's a market for singing channels. That would be really exquisite. Now, some would say when some people sing, they channel. I believe that to be true. Let's see. Carmack McMahon. Oh, there you go. I like that. I can sing you anytime. You probably want to hear Bo. Lisa Ann White. Let's put this up here. Today is our 9th anniversary. We're heading to the Rocky Mountain National Park looking for some elk energy. On our first day, we pulled up next to a bull elk in the road, and he just stared at us. On the first date, that is pretty auspicious. That is a sign, right? Isn't the elk about endurance and
And the elk have a certain muscularity and grace about them, especially the male elk. You know what I mean? And you got the elk antler. It's very potent, right? So there's a lot of like real natural, rich, earth, potent, uncut elk energy. I hope you see another one. Hope you see another. There's Bo's channel. We got a, there it is right there. The singing bow. Let's see. Possessed. That's funny. Trevor, the all know. I like Trevor. If we're going with backwards names, Sunday show was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's Tulare Brandy checking in. What's going on, Tulare Brandy? Once it ends, you know you have been through something and survived. Yeah. We took it as a good omen. That's right. It was a good omen. Then we do a gig at a lodge in Grand Lake. That's awesome. Scrubbies is here. What's up, Scrubbies? Good to see you, Tamara. Pisces energy, murky, but lovely spiritual connection with a not well friend. Lots of not well people out there. Lots of not well people, and the list is growing. Totally growing. Let's see. Soul Traveler's here. Hi, Soul Traveler. Anybody new? Anybody new? Anybody new? Anybody new? Okay. All right. I guess I should get into it, huh? Pisces. I was having so much fun. Pisces is a fucking trip. So we got a big snowstorm out there in the Northeast. Sun Sue in the house. What's up? Triple J, the hummingbird scrimmage has begun. Good to see you, Triple J. All right. The gang's all here. Sunday was an explosive day, but it blew through. Sunday did have a bit of that, didn't it? It was an interesting show on Sunday night. I've received a number of interesting comments. It was great that David came on. It was good to see David. And happy Aurora. Not so happy Aurora. That was good. That was really good. All right. Bill Smith's here. Hi, Bill. I was on the higher side chat once, believe it or not. But I kind of fucked up. And I'm not on it now. Because I said something about Tracy Twyman, which didn't go over well with the higher side chat crew. It is what it is. Long time ago. All right. But Greg does a great job on that show. I mean, you know, he does a really, really, really great job. He's been doing it for a while. And, you know, that's the thing, right? It's easy to kind of strike gold for a minute, but to keep doing it and go back again and again and again, that's not easy. It's the same thing with Crow 777. That's another person that people seem to like, whom I've never been on the show with. But again, somebody who's just been banging away and doing it for a long time, which, again, you got to pay respect to. So here we go. How's everybody coming off the old eclipse there on Sunday, Saturday, Sunday? I guess we're still in the glow aftermath of the eclipse. Over on Twitter, who put that up over on Twitter? There was a great image. Oh, Sally Robin, who's a good follow on Twitter, by the way. If you don't follow Sally Robin, check her out. She's a good follow on Twitter. She's a very good astrologer, and she speaks our language, if you know what I mean. You know, I'll tell you the interesting thing about Sunday night is, let me just say this. Sunday night made me realize how much I appreciate all of you. Seriously, like I come on, I love you guys. I've met a ton of you. So I have 3D in the field experience, field to field. And so I speak of what I know. But I was just so damn proud of you guys on Sunday night. Not because I'm not trying to cast aspersion or judgment here. Okay. But it was you had people coming in from Ryan's world who are clearly a bit different. Not to say that they don't have their charm and some insight. So there was that one guy, DJ I Am Rahi or something like that. That guy was just like, I hadn't seen him before. And he was just nailing stuff in chat. And I just kept putting his comments up. It's like, dude, you could come back anytime. These are really good. These are meaty comments. There's meat on the bones here. Right. So there were some interesting people that I was not familiar with in Sunday night show, but clearly a bit different. And what it made me realize, and I've it's just like, you know this, right? You know this, or I know this, but in contrast, what it made me realize is that you guys are pretty special in that you are about as way out and grounded as you can get. And that's how I would describe the contents of this container. Like Rion. Thank you, Rion. Yes, Rion. I don't know why I have a block about that. It's sort of like how Agnes Moorehead always used to screw up Darren's name on Bewitched. She managed to do it every show. Anyway, I just really appreciated you guys. It's like, that's my crew. That's my crew. These people are fucking real. And they can get way the fuck out there. And there's a lot of knowledge, particularly about things like healing, alternative healing, like incredible. So I just want to let you know that I'm proud to be associated with all of you, because I think you display the best of both worlds. Being grounded, slightly cynical, and open, all simultaneously, which is not easy to do, right? That is the hardest thing to do, is to be able to, what did Brando say? Like a snail. A snail crawling up the edge of razor blade. That's seen in Apocalypse Now. Incredible. To me, it's one of the greatest scenes of cinema of all time. No matter what Coppola had to put up with Brando, it was fucking worth it. But that's how I see you guys. You're like a snail
cutting up the razor's edge of the razor blade.
So salute, Chattaria. All right. So here we are, post-eclipse energy. Moon is now in fiery Aries. But that's an after effect. Like, people are probably still processing a lot of the eclipse. And it's like, you know what? I'm kind of pissed about this. But it's good though. I think it's good. I think it's good. I like the moon coming out of this eclipse in fiery Aries. It's already crossed Neptune. Yesterday, how did people feel yesterday? Were you guys out of it at all with that Moon-Neptune conjunction? That's stormy weather. And by the way, this retrograde, I'm just waiting for Mercury to drop, Neptune to drop back in Pisces. I think we could have winter. I think we could have a big dump, like starting in October. To me, that's going to characterize this Neptune, Pisces, Saturn, Pisces retrograde, because it's water. It's water, right? It's the water, but seasonally in the northern hemisphere, more likely frozen water, and earlier than seasonal. For you folks down there below the horizon, you might have your own version, but different kind of water. Very, very wet, temperate water. So it's going to be fascinating watching these outer planets do their retrograde thing, especially with Uranus. There's our friend. And I was talking with a yesterday, good old friend. And she was asking me, she does some astrology, what I thought about Uranus retrograde. And I said, I think the metaphor is like driving a car down the freeway and you're doing 80 miles an hour and then you slam it into reverse. That's the Uranus retrograde. Now it's retrograding now, obviously in Gemini, right? It's right there. You can see it. So it's on its way back to Taurus. And this is going to be the last pass through. It comes back into Gemini next year. So this is it. And it feels a lot like we're going to be dealing with the reset is on the other side of this Gemini, this Uranus retrograde. There's a ton happening with currency. And there's this Russian guy who just came out with this breakdown of what the U.S. is trying to do with the economy. And this is what I've been trying to articulate for a while, is that the U.S. does not want the debt anymore. And it's like, okay, you spent all this money on all this stupid shit for years and years and years. Money gets printed, it goes to the banks first, it goes to the corporations first, but it's still part of the debt. And Trump doesn't want the debt. So this Russian guy, Kobayayev or something like that, basically says that the U.S. wants to dump its debt and reboot everything through Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He's not wrong. He is not wrong. He wants the United States. I believe that's what Trump wants. I believe the U.S. wants to get out from under this onerous debt because they know it'll never be able to be paid off. And so by resetting the economic system, you not just reset the economic system, you reset the debt. And that's going to be a big part of this Uranus retrograde into Taurus, is going to be currency reset. And then when Uranus comes back next year in Gemini, it's like, oh, here you go. Here's your new reality. And we got a taste of how quickly things can happen with Uranus and Gemini, like just like out of the chute. Like, what? No Epstein? Never existed? Of course, the latest clusterfuck is Mike Johnson out there saying that Donald Trump worked for the FBI. Well, we thought there was no list. Oh, well, if he's on the list, the Democrats put him there. Oh, really? He was an informant in the FBI. That's why he was there. That's why his name will show up on the list. I mean, the community has been talking about that for years. It's nothing new. Whether it's true or not, I have a hard time believing. But Trump is the ultimate fucking Gemini, isn't he? He just put out this post on Truth Social about vaccines. And he says they're all poison. And there was a video where their guys were talking about, was it Tamarisol or thalidomide? I forget which one. It might have been thalidomide. And it's an old documentary clip, and Trump or somebody played it on Truth. And it's like, whoa, really? You're going there now after you had Bill Gates sitting right next to Melania, who looked like she wanted to kill him. That's Trump. That's Trump. That's Sun Uranus conjunction. In Gemini, you never know where the fuck he's coming from or where he's going. So for me, these retrograde planets, especially Uranus, far-reaching consequences. Far-reaching consequences. Yeah, next year everything changes, doesn't it? We're currently in a 9-year. And 9 years are all about letting go, endings. And it feels like we're coming to the end of. We're in this weird. A lot of people say, "Well, it's a paradigm shift." Yeah, there's part of that, but it feels like this concrescence of events. And the year's not done yet either. Let's keep that in mind. We're in the 9th day of the 9th month in a year that is a 9-year. Oh, today's a 999 day. Flip it upside down. Well, you know what that looks like. So does that mean today is a big day for letting go? Maybe. Maybe. Next year's a 1 year. Everything is like rebooted, restarts, new, right? The flaming one energy. Saturn, Neptune go into Aries again. What? The first sign at 0 degrees together, kicking the year off, starting essentially a new 9-year cycle. Demerisol. Thank you, John. Demerisol. Thalidomide wasn't that great either, but Demerisol. And the guy takes it out and shows just how toxic it is. It's like they're unwrapping uranium in Los Alamos or something. So this is the day of letting go. Letting go, letting go, letting go. 999. In a year of letting go, a year of surrender. You know, and I've been going through this heart thing, and it's like, yeah, you're not invincible. That's like a 9 realization. It's like, oh, shit, I can't go on this trip. I have to cancel everything. It's been a real eye-opener on a lot of different levels. All right, so here we go. Let's get back into the 9, which is our sun at 17. Right, tomorrow it'll be at 18, which would be officially kind of a 9 energy. So we have sun at 17. There's the south node at 18. There we got 9. 1 plus 8 is 9. So we have the nodes at 9 through 1 plus 8. And then we have the day at 9, 9. So there's an undercurrent for our theme of letting go. 9 is a very spiritual number, but it's not an easy number. You know, in numerology, and this is one of the things I work with on the everything reading, your first 30 years of your life are based on your birth month. So if you're born in September, by the way, there are Leos that are born in September. No, I take that back. They're not. What am I thinking? I'm thinking there are Leos. There are Virgos born in August. My bad. Still waking up a little bit. But you learn. I mean, for all you Virgos out there, your first 30 years, like mine was always like letting go of something. Oh, I got to let go of this. I got to let go of this. Okay. All right. I get it. But then you kind of develop sort of this universal ability or your personality to be able to let go. If you don't get too disheartened. And that's why I think it's important for people to understand this, especially when they're young. If you're a Virgo, the first 30 years of your life are going to be about not being noticed and having to let go. And it's where you learn how to, you know, well, geez, if I can't serve myself, and I guess maybe I'll serve others, right? I mean, it kind of it shapes the individual. And there were times, you know, 9 is a very Piscean number. Even though it's the 9th month and it's very much related to the Hermit and Virgo, it's very Piscean because in that sequence, it is the last number. Before you go back to 110, which is 1 plus 0, it brings you back to 1. So 9 is very Piscean. And so the Virgo is learning the lessons of its opposite sign during this first 30 years. Now, Pisces, on the other hand, is a 3 energy. Mostly, right? Some of it can be late 2. You know, like February 21st or something like that, you know, late 2, but mostly 3. And the first 30 years for Pisces are very, very different than the first 30 years of Virgo. Frankly, I'd rather have the first 30 years of Pisces. But the challenge with having the 3 energy, which is very eclectic, lots of experiences, and sometimes with Pisces, they can be all these random threads. Well, how do I pull them together? How do I make use of them? Well, that's the opposite sign. That's Virgo. So it's there to say, hey, look, this is what you have to do. You have to get organized. You have to take these various eclectic experiences and these little pieces of whatever it is you're learning or experiencing and figure out how to coalesce it and do something meaningful. That's what Virgo is on the other. So for Virgo, the lesson with the 9 is Pisces, which is to let go. If for Pisces with that 2/3, mostly 3 energy, the lesson from the other side with Virgo is, how do I pull it up? How do I become disciplined, organized? All the things that I need to do, because I know I can do this, do that. And people say, "Oh, I'm so talented," and I can do anything I want, but I can't make up my mind, or I don't have enough confidence, or whatever that is, right? Virgo's knocking on the door and saying, "Hey, get your shit together, get organized." Right? Pull the 3, pull that, synthesize those things. So anyway, just a little bit of a rumination on letting go. Because today really falls. It's like today's the energy that, in a lot of ways, I think we were looking for on the eclipse. Although some people got the eclipse energy. I think I did. It's, I talked about the eclipse about a week ago. Wasn't it a week ago? I went through the eclipse and the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and I felt like I'd covered it, but I guess maybe I didn't cover it enough. Because I think people were really looking for some of that on Sunday night. So I apologize if I didn't dive into the eclipse enough on Sunday night. But here we are in the aftermath. And I think today is, but I think there's a lot of value in being unconditional today. That's my sense. Mercury's still behind the sun, but it's catching up. We're still in that kind of Promethean moment. Let me just do this. Hold on. Zoom in a little bit. All right. Here we go. So we do have an inconjunct kind of early in the day here, and it's Moon Mercury. You see that? And that's early in the day. And the moon in Aries has a lot to do with urgency. When I think of this moon in Aries, there's this EP by Ricky Lee Jones called Girl at Her Volcano, or Girl at the Volcano. Girl at the Volcano. This is really a great record. It's an EP. It was recorded on a technology called Quiex. So it was like recorded really super high end. Some of it was live, some of it was studio. Girl at Her Volcano. She does a version of Lush Life, which is really incredible. But this is what this moon in Aries feels like. Angry women. It's interesting tracking women now. When I think of this moon in Aries, I think of events the last couple of days where people found out about this English chick who's been busted in Dubai for cocaine. And her mom with this moon This girl's mother is going to be on a rampage. I can tell you that. Her daughter got sentenced to life in prison in Dubai for having 50 grams of blow. 50 grams of blow. You're fucked. You're so fucked in Dubai. So fucked. Here's what will happen. She's been charged. She'll spend probably about a year in jail. Under, at first, not great conditions. But she'll be moved into a different facility, and she'll be like a kept animal. And she'll be fed well. Because what will happen is one of these sheiks will go in and win her. And he will take her to his compound. And she'll never be seen again. Unless they do some kind of weird diplomatic deal, which she'll just disappear. They'll think she's in the prison. And will probably try to go there and see her or whatever. And they'll just give her the runaround. They'll say, well, she's been moved to this facility, that facility. Just, she won't see her daughter again. They'll make up some story. She'll be auctioned off, and she'll in one of these compounds in Riyadh or someplace like that, right? That'll happen unless the international community comes in, or I don't think that's going to happen. But bring it back to this inconjunct. The inconjunct is feeling like I've got something important to say. And I got to say it. I got to get it out. The challenge with the moon in Aries is that there's the immediacy. But I really like this Venus moon trine early in the day here. It's great for communication. So for you people that are just waking up in this part of the world, meaningful communication is on the table. And I feel like this Mercury moon inconjunct is filling in pieces of the puzzle that you don't have. Like, if you don't have all the answers, it's okay. And this is one of the things that, you get into this world, especially when you're younger and you're a dude. It's like who's going to be the alpha in this world? Whatever it is. And, for years, I would grind and grind, and I still grind and grind and grind and grind. And with the idea that I need to keep up, right? I need to be able to bring something to the table that is meaningful. And to do that is to bring either new concepts or new ideas or new ways of looking at things. Because when you do that, you separate yourself out from other people in this space. And there was a period where I'd see somebody, man, that fucker's really good. Really good. And I would get competitive. I'm like, okay, I got to get better in this area. Right? I would get competitive because I didn't want that person to have the secret sauce that I didn't have at that time. And so this is what dudes do, right? And at a certain point, I began to turn this battleship around. And it was like, good on you. You're great at what you do. Like, one of the healthiest things that I came across was Longo. It's like, you know what? This motherfucker is really smart. And he was born for this role. Right? Like that. So watching him and seeing him grow and, you know, sort of taking the internet by storm and being really productive. And I think Gen Z has helped me out in that regard because I see them as the future and I want to cheer them on. You know, so it's kind of like we all want our children to be better than us. And so I'm cheering this generation on. It's like, yeah, be better than us. And a lot of times are. So for me, I made this shift where it's like, can you still not lose the edge, but also not see everybody as your competitor? That's a major shift, you know, and I think David has helped with that as well too, because he's super successful. And there was a time where David knows the story. We've talked about it. There was a time I didn't like David. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Right? Leo fucking King? Who does he think he is? You know, you want ego checked, be an astrologer and come across David Palmer around 2019. 2020, right? 2018, 19, right around there. It's like, man. So I was like this. And then I realized how hard David worked and how much he was a grinder. And I respect grinders. And that completely won me over. And it was weird because he started to show up in my chat right around the time I was like shifting my perception of my relationship with David. And the next thing you know, we're doing shows together and here we are. So it's just a natural, I think, thing that men have, which is being competitive. But at the end of the day now, it's like Pluto's in Aquarius and we're all in this together. And I just think the best thing that we can do is support one another to the best of our ability. We're in this space, and this space is going to get wild. And so we have this in conjunct with the moon and Mercury today. Don't be threatened. Today's a really, really excellent day to have meaningful discussions. And, you know, it almost pains me to say this, but living with your guard down in a good way, right? You don't want to be naive. You don't want to be like that woman who got stabbed. No situational awareness. You don't want to be like that. But today's a day where you don't have to be numero uno. You don't have to be on top. Although you can be if you want to be. We have this Venus-Mars sextile going on here. And Venus-Moon right there. Boom. And we got Chiron hanging out at the final degrees of Aries. It goes into Taurus next year. Wow. The late Gen Xers have their Chiron returns. So all you people born in like 1986 and on, get ready. Your Chiron return is about to happen. That'll be interesting. Jupiter in nice sextile mode with the sun. That makes us more generous, or at least it gives us the opportunity to be more generous. We have a Mars-Jupiter square we're still in that social justice, injustice space, right? Like this whole Epstein thing has kind of ground to a halt because Mike Johnson refuses to table the measure so that the Republicans and Democrats can vote on getting this list released. I mean, we're coming towards the end of that a little bit because Mars is starting to separate, but it's still there. You know, this is feisty. This is very, 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 very feisty. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. Like, I don't know how much you guys follow this, but there's this whole like trad wife movement that's kind of taking place. Like, it's kind of a big thing now. It's the Gen Z thing to be a trad wife. What is a trad wife? Traditional. Want to stay at home, wants to have kids. I don't have a problem with that. What's interesting is that some of these trad wifers are coming out of like OnlyFans, and OnlyFans is sort of dying. Like there's not as much money to be made in OnlyFans. It's like, okay, I'll be a trad wifer now. I've made about $2.5 million on OnlyFans. Now I just need a man to take care of me so I can be a traditional wife. If he doesn't take care of me well enough, well, I still have my $2.5 million. Like that's a big thing going on. There's a big debate about this, you know, trad wife deal. And I think Matt Walsh got into a debate with Andrew Tate around this whole concept of trad wife marriage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And to me, this is very much like this Mars-Jupiter square, but it's almost like we get overcompensation with the Mars-Jupiter square. But if we've been deficient in something, then maybe the overcompensation is better. Or at least it could fit. You know what I mean? I think you do. Today's a good day. Yeah, we got, if anything, you got a Jupiter square with the moon going on. Don't let other people's emotions, like, don't piggyback. Here's what you don't want to do. I'll tell you what you don't want to do, which is Virgo, and what I think would be a better course of action. Watch out for getting sucked into other people's dramas and having to stand up for them. Now, if you do that of your own volition, that's completely different. Completely different. And we'll deal with more of that tomorrow when the moon moves into more of an opposition with Mars and more of a square with Jupiter. It's in that square with Jupiter, but tomorrow it'll be much bigger. So it's like an incoming storm. Just keep your eye on the radar. And also, if you're just looking to, you know, scan and police your own intentionality, because a lot of times we want validation for whatever it is we've done or haven't done. And for me, this is the kind of over validation, or like, God damn it, I'm really pissed because of XYZ. And getting people to come to your side because of that, to rally them. Just be aware of that. However, if it does arise organically, and hey, look, sometimes you got to roll up the sleeves with Mars and Libra, and you get in the ring. Okay. I think that's about it for the weather. I'm just looking to see if I missed anything. You know, Trump is still battling this interest rate. I think he wanted to fire that gal from the Fed. I think he tried to. Maybe he did. And Trump wants to get the market, and he wants the interest rates to come down. He does. He's locked in this thing with Jerome Powell, and I'm just wondering, when Jupiter finally separated from Saturn, what's the deal here? What is the deal? Maybe we'll have to see what takes place, and by Friday we get that moon conjuncting Jupiter in Cancer, squaring Mars. Because a lot of this is tied to the housing market, obviously, which has just been completely impacted. It's like the housing market needs kaopectate. Okay, let's throw up our banner here, and let's bring in our True Hemp Science Star of the Day. The reviews keep coming in for Mr. Chris's products, and let me tell you, there are people who religiously use his products, and they are beyond thrilled. Absolutely. In fact, it's become almost a lifestyle. It's the best CBD you'll find on the internet, or if you're in Austin, in the physical world. And Chris is always tweaking something. He's always coming out with a new product. It's like I can't keep up with everything that he's bringing online. But for people that are really going through some transitions, physical, emotional, psychological, whatever, CBD is great. If you use it consistently, that's the key with CBD. You just need to use it consistently so that it can saturate your cellular function and help you hit that reset. So if you use the code 15MINS, go to True Hemp Science, you will get a goodie bag with your order of $100 or more. That means you're going to get more product with your product, and you'll get free shipping if you go that extra $50, and there's always a 30-day money-back guarantee. So truehempscience.com, your one-stop shop for all things CBD. All right, let's talk Colonel Sanders. Today's the man's birthday, the man who changed America. Knights of the Golden Circle. He's a Capricorn rising. So there's Capricorn, Saturn all over this chart. He got a late start. He's a late bloomer. Capricorn rising. Everybody knows it. He opened his first, I think he opened his first franchise location in Salt Lake City. What was it, 1940? Like way back. Let's see. When did he becoming the colonel? 1952. The first franchise opened in 1952. And that was in Utah. And this is interesting. The reason why he started the franchise is because an interstate bypassed his restaurant. So at 65, he started traveling the country in his car, cooking chicken for restaurant owners and signing up his first franchisees. That's wild, right? He was a Freemason, though. Like, he was a high-level Freemason, so he got a lot of help. But he had this high-pressure cooker thing. Which you probably stole from somebody else. And he started to sell these meals, including fried chicken, out of a gas station. Interesting. Jack of all trades. Now, this is the part that I think is really part of his story. Born in Henryville, Indiana in 1890, Sandra's father died when he was 6. His mother worked long hours, leaving Sanders to cook and care for the younger siblings. This is the story. This is the story of Capricorn rising. And everybody that I've ever known who has Capricorn rising has to become a parent very early on. Very early on, he has to become a parent. And that's what he did. At the age of 6, he's making meals for his siblings. It's growing up fast. So Capricorn rising's interesting, right? And you'd have to have some degree of endurance to eventually get to the starting line. Now, he sold his franchises in the 60s for $2 million, which in the 60s was a lot of money. Like, I think it was 1960. So he became a brand ambassador. So whenever you saw him, he was basically being paid to be on the flying bucket. And he's there's a lot about the guy that we just don't know about, right? He's got the sun in the 8th house, but when you get into Longo world, you'll find out that he's connected to this borderline esoteric occult or the Golden Circle or KFC. And we know that if you look on the list of Freemasonry, he's a master Mason. So he always had his lodge brothers to be able to tap into. And that's very 11th house. And he has Ceres over there, and he has Juno, right? So that's his. And it's all kind of from here in the 11th to the 12th. And it gets even more secret, right, in the 12th. Kind of an extension of the 11th. He's got Mars in Sagittarius, 21, conjunct the South Node. If for something like that, he's bringing this warrior energy back into this lifetime. He has to find a way to use it, but it's occulted. And he has a Sun-Mars square, which I think actually helps him. Sun-Mars square, you're going to fight. You're going to continue. I think it's a good offset to the Sun-Neptune square, which is, hey, I'm going to give up. But he also has the Sun-Pluto square, which I think is probably the tightest of the two. Neptune come along. Even Saturn-Neptune square. I wouldn't want to do business with Harlan Sanders. I don't believe that this was a trustworthy man. Now, you have contracts, you have things that you have to, honor. That's obvious. But Sun, Neptune, squared Neptune, Pluto. Great salesman. Great salesman. Mercury and Libra. 9th house, that's taking the show on the road, isn't it? That's taking your product ultimately around the fucking world. He might be one of the most influential people of the 20th century. I mean, think about it. If it's true that fried chicken, which is Southern, right, and it's associated with American Black culture, usually, right? He takes his recipe and he takes it to the world. It's like he's exporting, for lack of a better term, slave cuisine to the masses. It's really interesting when you think about it. If you really want to go down that hole. And he's got Mercury in the 9th, so he's a great, great salesman. This guy can sell anything. I'm telling you. Trying Neptune, trying Pluto, believability. Would you buy chicken from this man? Yeah, I would. And America did. The world has. This guy's face is iconic. He's immortal. And it is all because give up. And he has some fraternal help, no doubt. Chiron Moon conjunction. That's interesting. And because the moon in Cancer is very traditional, right? And it's like, yeah, this is what we make it. My wife makes a great fried chicken. And it's like, well, guess what? Your wife doesn't have to make the great fried chicken now. The Colonel does. So he has a relationship with domesticity, but also the Cancerian kind of model, which is feeding people. He has a relationship with it. And Chiron conjunct his moon, I think he probably had to overcome a lot of shame with his home and his family life. I'm not sure how he did it, but I can clearly see that. Uranus in the 9th house, to me, that's very Freemasonic. Sort of, if you have, here, let me put it this way. Uranus in the 9th house is very syncretic and eclectic. Like, you're going to define God in your own terms. And it's not always going to add up the way other people see it. And there's some controversy here, I think, with him and belief system. At least maybe back in the day. Maybe we were privy to it because we just liked that finger licking good. Even that phrase, finger licking good. I don't know if he came up with it. It's fucking great. Jupiter in Aquarius. So if he were alive, he would be having Pluto conjunct his natal Jupiter right now. I think this is an interesting chart. He's got Venus and Scorpio on the midheaven. I think this is somebody who fucked some people over. Dave Thomas was his protege, the guy who started Wendy's. And Dave Thomas is also a Freemason. So Colonel Sanders was his mentor. So we went to Wendy's without Colonel Sanders. Interesting. And apparently Dave Thomas even changed the name of his daughter. She wasn't Wendy, but she like, hey, you're Wendy now. Yeah, Venus and Scorpio conjunct. I mean, there's something about people of Venus conjunct midheaven. They're going to get noticed, right? They're going to get noticed, and he did. The franchisee stuff is interesting. I think it's the true node in Gemini. And I think it's right here, right there in that 6th house. It's like, okay, let's take this thing. They're gonna go around the interstate. They're gonna go around your gas station. Let's take it to the people. Right. That's the true node in Gemini. So that's, to me, if you want to take anything away from this chart, besides the fact that he had to grow up really quickly and he has some very occulted relationships, it's the franchisee part of it. True node, Gemini, multiples, 6th house, work, service, bada bing. I'd say the guy lived his life. You know, and even the true node in Gemini probably had a bit of a double life. You know, who knows? I was talking with Joan this morning, and it was like, he's the gift that keeps on giving. So the guy who, what's his name, John Schnatter, the guy who owned Papa John's Pizza, owned being the operative word, he was a board meeting, and he was telling a story about Colonel Sanders and how racist Colonel Sanders was, which we can probably find in his chart. Maybe it's that Sun-Mars square. And he dropped the N-bomb during the meeting to illustrate how racist Colonel Sanders was. That meeting was being recorded, right? Because they had some people that were not there, but they're Zoom. So they were recording the meeting. So they got John Schnatter on this recording, and they made a big deal out of it, and they ousted him as the CEO of Papa John's. And the company was doing great. They had deals with the NFL. You know, John Schnatter became the face. It's rare, right? It's rare when the person who owns the company or started the company becomes the face of the company. Colonel Sanders being one of them, Dave Thomas being another. But even Ray Kroc wasn't the face of McDonald's. That was like Ronald McDonald. So it's rare when you have, that's a lot of power, because you're not only the founder, CEO, but you're the spokesperson for the company. And so Colonel Sanders was the gift that kept on giving, right, from the grave. And just by repeating the story and using Colonel Sanders' not so enlightened language, it basically got this guy booted out of the company. So that was kind of like at the crest of the wave of Me Too and D2, which is I would call it D2 and Me Too. And so Schnatter gets caught up in that. And he's been on Jason Whitlock a couple times. He's a friend of Jason's. They both went to Ball State together, but not together, but they went to the same college. And he's been on Jason's show a couple times. And Jason's a big Christian. And John Schnatter is like way into Joe Dispenza. And he was trying to explain Joe Dispenza concepts to Jason Whitlock. It wasn't going over too well with Christian Jason. Right. I'm afraid to say, however, that churches kind of jumped the lab chicken. This is all lab chicken now. But back in the day, there was nothing that excited me more than a fucking Kentucky Fried Chicken dinner. And I think something even around the packaging, the white box, there was something about the packaging that was cool. was like you're opening something. It was like, oh, look, it's Christmas. And there's my fried chicken. I love fried chicken, by the way. And I was a freak of a kid where if you gave me chicken, I would not only eat everything off the bone, I would pop like the little cartilage off the end of the drumstick and eat that shit. So by the time you got the bones back, there were nothing on the bones. Same thing with an apple. Is anybody else like that? Like I would destroy apple. There'd be nothing left except a few seeds, maybe a little part. I've always kind of been. If I'm into it, I'm into it. I go all the way. All right, that's it. I will be doing a flame on Thursday. For now, I can do once a week because I'm still trying to get back. I'm a lot better than I was. A lot better than I was. But I'm still trying to get back on my feet, and I got some things to do. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all of you. You know the drill. Take care of yourself. Treat each other well. And God bless you all. Love you all. Bye for now.